Hello everyone and welcome to the WCS League. This is the round from Hockenheim. We are very close to the end of the championship now, so it's all or nothing for these drivers. They have to get the points in now, otherwise it might well be too late, especially if you're a driver on the attack such as, say, Adam Pinces or even Mihaly Juric or Chris Shepherd, drivers who have picked up pace later on in the season. But for Slaven Stolic, our championship leader, he's just got to conserve, pick up as many points as he possibly can, not take too many risks because he has got his healthiest buffer that he's had for the entire series so far, and just keep that points lead going to the final round. So today we are just witnessing the final few minutes of qualifying. So far it's Adam Pinces, P1. He's just set the fastest lap of the session so far, 146.674. That's pretty quick for a touring car round here, followed by Slaven Stolic. So Stolic, our championship leader, following him closely on the track, also following him closely in the order. Chris Shepherd is currently third, followed by Nikola Nesic, Milan Tomicic, and Mihaly Juric. So 6 drivers. We do have a 7th who's not yet set a representative lap time, I believe, and that's Marv Donderkambi. So he needs to get out onto the track and make an improvement in the last couple of minutes of this race. Of this qualifying session. But in the meantime, the drivers are just going for it again. I don't think Pinces will improve on this lap since he got a little bit stuck by Chris Shepherd, and it looks to me as if he's going to bail out of it. So Slaven Stolic, I think, is who will probably turn a race to now and watch as the lap continues. In terms of the championship, Slaven Stolic is leading by 19 points ahead of Adam Pinces, although it's very, very close for the positions behind that because we have Pinces just 1 point ahead of Mihaly Juric, who is third in the championship, and then only 4 points behind Juric is Nikola Nesic in 4th place. Chris Shepherd is 5th, followed by Ryan Elliott, Ilya Brekalo, Milan Tomicic, Antonio Armiento, and Francesco Panabianco. But unfortunately, not a lot of those drivers have made every round of the championship, or even most rounds of the championship. So thank you and well done to all of the drivers who have done. And it's great to see new faces joining this series as it continues as well, such as Marv Donderkambi. Of course, his first race of this championship was last time out at the Red Bull Ring, and those races are still online. So if you want to go back and watch those rounds from the Red Bull Ring, then you very much can. And also we had other drivers joining us partway through, further back in the series as well. But of course the drivers who have made every round so far: Slaven Stolic, Adam Pinces, Mihaly Juric, Nikola Nesic, Chris Shepherd, and not quite Ryan Elliott. He missed 1, although he's been here for the majority of the season so far. I've just figured out who the other driver who joined partway through was. It was Milan Tomicic. No, it wasn't. He just missed around at Zandvoort, so never mind about that. But anyway, qualifying is just about to witness the checkered flag, and I believe we've only got 1 driver on track. So that means the pole position is almost undoubtedly going to go to Adam Pinces here, followed by Chris Shepherd and Nikola Nesic. Let's see what Milan Tomicic can do on this final lap of the qualifying session. He's currently P6, so last of the drivers who isn't Marv Donderkambi, and actually not quite sure if Donderkambi's in the server. I really hope that he is and that he can make it in, although I don't see him right now, so I'm afraid we may not have Marv Donderkambi after all. But anyway, Tomicic comes through the final couple of corners of the lap. Has he backed off? That looked very pedestrian through the Satchka there. Indeed, so that means Adam Pinces takes pole position, followed by Shepherd, Nesic, Stolic, Juric, and Tomicic. We have a brief warm-up session now before we head to the green flag. So don't head anywhere. We have a quick advert break, and we will be straight back for the start of race 1. Welcome back everyone to the Hockenheim Ring. We're just about to witness the first of 3 races here from WCS League. Away we go from the start, and that's a good start for Adam Pinces. He's going to lead us into turn 1, followed by Nesic and Storlich, and it looks to me as if Storlich has got it turned in time to get it through ahead of Juric. However, Juric is still alongside him down the straight, very nearly on the inside for the next corner, but has to back out of it for the time being. Chris Shepherd challenging them hard through the opening couple of corners as well, and you've got a full chain of cars heading up towards the hairpin. I'm afraid that Milan Tomicic has dropped back a bit, so it's not quite 6 for the lead, but very, very close. Is now Storlich is going to try to get back at Nesic, who jumped him at the start. So Storlich going to the inside, and it's 2 by 2 behind Pinces, with Storlich breaking later and going into Pinces. There's contact for the lead, and it looks to me as if Juric has jumped 2 positions and all of that. So Juric sees the 3 ahead of him coming together, says, "I'll take that, thank you very much," pops up the inside. That's excellent car positioning for Mihailo Juric. Nesic has come out of that ahead of Storlich. Storlich has lost, I think, the most out of that, and Pinces very nearly lost his lead as well. But I think he just managed to get far enough around the corner that he could slam on the accelerator and just floor it back to a straight and level position, which probably saved his race lead there and stopped him from spinning. Whatever the case, Adam Pinces still leads this race, followed by Juric, Nesic, and Storlich coming to the end of the opening lap of the race. We're about to see some more slipstream because we've got 3 long straights coming up now. The start-finish straight, followed by the straight up to turn 2, and then also another one heading up towards the hairpin. Oh, a little bit wide there goes Nikola Nesic, and Storlich is going to be alongside him towards turn 1 here. That's a difficult place to go too wide, and they make it stick. However, Nesic is going to have to run very, very wide there. Rejoins the track. Oh, as Shepherd touches the back of Storlich, who doesn't get a good run towards turn 2, and Storlich might be about to drop to P5 here. Very, very close as they make a little bit more contact as well, but they all get through relatively cleanly. Now we're heading up towards the through the what's it called? The parabolica, that's the word, sorry. Meaning long corner, pretty much in Italian, and towards the hairpin. Oh, and oh, goodness me, that was Nesic getting absolutely shunted in the side by 2 drivers. Both Storlich and Shepherd tried to come through, and it didn't work at all. They've come out of it in the same order, although only just. And I'd be surprised if if none of those cars wasn't slightly dented or damaged from all of that. It was a big clobber in the side of Nikola Nesic, and they've both lost a lot of time in all of that as well. They've dropped about 2 seconds behind Mihailo Juric. Juric himself is still maintaining less than half a second behind behind Pinces, sorry. So his race victory challenge may not be over yet as they head through the Satch curve for the second time of asking. Excuse the hiccuping. Now out towards the start-finish straight once again we go, with Juric still in the slipstream of Pinces, who runs very wide, very nearly onto the grass, manages to keep it not within the lines, but within the confines of grip, if that makes sense. I suppose you, if you want to be pedantic, there is still grip out on the grass, just nowhere near as much as you'd like, nowhere near as much as on the AstroTurf, and even less still than on the tarmac. Anyway, we're heading now onto the longest flat-out section of the track. It's difficult to get a good slipstream here until the circuit levels out, because you do still sweep around the long flat-out left-hander at the parabolica, and now they'll be getting the slipstream heading up towards the hairpin, and it's very, very common here. It's a very easy mistake to make to make a dive that isn't doable and go clattering into your opponents, like we saw in the last 2 laps. But this time around, they've all made it through cleanly. No mad dives, no contact between anyone and everyone. Nice and cleanly as it stands. Hello to everyone watching in the YouTube stream, and commenting in the YouTube chat. Good to see so many people commenting already. We've got David H185 saying evening, and VBM saying evening all. Good to see you there. Harris Mohammed says hello. Hello to you as well. VBM says more events to take part soon. Yes, definitely. WCS League doesn't have any plans of stopping, and I'm sure that more leagues will be on their way. And if you want to get involved, then check out our website. There's a link to it in the description of this stream. Nenad Vladisavljevic, I hope I said that correctly, says go Nesic. So we've got a Nikolai Nesic fan, and David H185 says love the tune. That's great to hear, and thank you all very much for the feedback. Anyway, back to the race. The gap for the lead has come out to 1.3 seconds as it stands. So 1.3 seconds. Pintes is getting out into the lead of the race, and he needs to do so because, of course, he's 19 points behind Slaven Stulic in the championship and needs to score more than him to keep in contention of the championship. Whoa, as Pintes goes wide. Well, needs to score more of him to keep in realistic contention of the championship. He could still be in mathematic contention of the title going into the final round. Almost whatever happens, it is theoretically possible for Slaven Stulic to wrap up the championship today, although extremely unlikely. And I'm not considering this a championship decider. It's almost definitely going to go down to the final round at the Salzburg Ring, which will take place, of course, in 2 weeks' time. Meanwhile, out through turn, that's the corner that used to be known as the Coca-Cola curve, now I believe known as Mobile 1. And before it was known as the Coca-Cola curve, it was also known as the AGEP curve. So all of the sponsors, it's very much put your name here kind of corner. This corner that they're going through now, though, called the Südkurve, and that's easier to remember because that means south corner in German, and it's immediately followed here by the start-finish straight and then the Nordkurve, which means north curve or north corner. So those are two very easy corner names to remember. Always like the easier corners. And they traverse that with no difficulty. Still, it's close between Nesic, Stulic, and Shepard for third as they head out through the unnamed turns 2, 3, and 4, and up towards the Parabolica. Again, long, flat left-hander, and that's a good slipstream opportunity. Stulic is definitely getting closer to Nesic. He'd do well to get through there, although certainly closing in and staying with Nikola Nesic. It'd be a huge disappointment for him if he wasn't to finish on the podium as the championship leader, especially since Pincers will be taking away a lot of points from this round. But anyway, out past the Mercedes arena and turns 9 and 10. There's Mobile 1 / Coca-Cola / AGIP / whatever you want to call it, whatever your sponsor's name is. I suppose we could call it the WCS League corner. And then out through the Satchka. These next two sweeps are completely flat out and barely counted corners at all, although they are registered as 13 and 14. And then we're back again to 15 and 16, the Südkurve. That was a lap of the Hockenheim Grand Prix circuit. Of course, it used to be a much longer, much more fearsome circuit, which swept and shot through the forests surrounding the circuit. It was hugely dangerous and did take lives, such as that of Jim Clark, very famously in 1968. But also others as well, including Patrick Depailler. But these days it's a much safer, much more purpose-built circuit for racing, much more suited for racing. And it looks to me as if Stulic is going to take advantage of the hairpin that was implemented and go to the inside with a little bit of contact on Nesic. Nesic obviously didn't realise that he was going to be quite as far alongside him as he was, but Stolic has pulled the move. So our championship leader in the Hyundai goes up into third position. Nesic may come back at him here towards the Mercedes arena and does so, goes to the inside again. Oh, and Stolic gives him a helping hand in turning through the corner, guides him gently leftwards. They're gonna very nearly lock wheels, and Nesic did a good job to read that situation and level off the steering a bit so they didn't hook wheels and go shooting off into the scenery. So Nikola Nesic there stays fourth, and Slaven Stolic stays third. Good driving from both of them, but Slaven Stolic now has a tough ask if he wants to get up into the top two. I'm not sure it's going to be doable. He's got 1.5 seconds to gain in 4 minutes. Actually, that is doable. He'll certainly benefit if Juric makes a mistake, although judging by their previous lap times, I'd say that Stolic probably will be on Juric by the end of this race. It's although then again, it's definitely much easier to catch a driver than to overtake them. VBN suggests that we call turn 12 HM Engineering Corner. That is a good. That is a very good idea. Of course, the series is sponsored and supported by HM Engineering, and we offer our sincerest thanks for that. And also by Sim News, although I'm a bit biased pointing that out, since I do come from Sim News, as does our wonderful cameraman Mike Pitman, who has helped to set up this stream and is also streaming the images that you are seeing right in front of you now. Marv Dundercamby says connection problems in qualifying meant I couldn't enter in time. That is bad luck, and I believe that you are still allowed to enter for race 2, so it's a big shame that you couldn't make it in for race 1. Although if you can get yourself in for race 2 or race 3 or both, then absolutely do, and it would be fantastic to see a 7th driver on the grid. And with the WCS League grid, you definitely stand a chance of getting top 5s, maybe even a podium position. So definitely get on the grid and give it a go. Anyway, we have just 2.5 minutes remaining in this first race of 3, as the leaders all stream through the sud curve once again, and we have a 4-car chain for second. Look how close they've got now. I said that Stolic would be catching Juric. I didn't realise it would be quite this quickly. And Nesic and Shepard have really gone with him here. So Juric followed by Stolic, then Nesic and Shepard. 2, 3, 4, 5. Shepard, the only one of those who isn't driving a Hyundai. I do wish that Juric and Stolic weren't driving identically liveried Hyundais, but then again, there are differences, such as the number and the name on the door. Of course, Juric in the number 5, Stolic in the number 1, and Stolic's number 1 also his championship position, and he looks as if he's going for P2 here, up the inside of Juric. Got far enough alongside him to make the move. However, Juric is going to get better run out of the corner, so I think Stolic is going to have to tuck back into the slipstream and try again into the Mercedes arena. He should be thanking his lucky stars that he didn't go side by side with Juric through the kink, although he slightly misjudged it, slightly overshot it, and touched Juric there, and he's going to touch him again as he turns in. Juric isn't going to be happy about that. Nesic getting involved too. Bang, bang on the door. Knock, knock, who's there? And Stolic has got through into second position very robustly, very sideways. There goes Juric. Holds it, but he's going to be on the outside line. Also Shepard and Nesic side by side. Nesic now gets the better run on the inside line. I thought he was going to. And now Shepard takes advantage, takes a look to the inside, has to back out of it, realises it's fruitless, as wide goes Juric, and Juric in the space of just a sector or two has dropped from second down to fourth, and may lose fifth here, as Shepard is attacking him on the final lap of the race, as this is. So through the Nord curve down towards turn 2, this is an overtaking opportunity, and we're looking at Juric taking a look to the outside of Nesic. He will want to get back past him and back onto the podium. He won't want the podium to be snatched away from him in the late stages of the race, or at all for that matter. However, as much as he's got to attack, he's also got to defend, because Chris Shepherd is coming at him on his tail end, and I would be hugely surprised if not one of these drivers went for an overtake into the hairpin here, and it looks to me as if it's going to be Shepherd. So Shepherd takes a look to the outside. Jurich covers it well, positions his car where he needed to, and Nesic is going to have to go defensive because he took a look at Stulich and did not get the best of runs out of the hairpin. And as they head into the Mercedes arena now, both of these drivers looking vulnerable. Shepherd to the outside, going for the switchback, but again, his next corner is on the outside. Once again, he's going to have to try a lot of switchbacks to make that work. And the Satch curve probably would be more of an overtaking opportunity, but it's very tight, very narrow, just like Tarzan at Zandvoort. And not able to make a move. Meanwhile, Adam Pintos comes around the final 2 corners of the lap. He's held it, he's pulled away, he's going to win by 6 seconds. That's a fantastic victory from Slaven Stulich. From Adam Pintos, ahead of Slaven Stulich. Pintos wins race 1 of 3. Stulich is going to come second, so doesn't lose too many points to Pintos. Nesic third, Jurich fourth, Shepherd fifth, and Milan Tomicic is going to round out the grid in 6th. So now we are going straight into an advert break, and we will be back very, very shortly for race 2. Welcome back, everyone, to Hockenheim. We are going to have a second race now. Second race of 2 for the WCSLeague, in a round that could no longer mathematically be a championship decider, I believe, although I can't confirm that because I haven't done the calculations. But as we head to race 2 now, it's going to be Milan Tomicic, who has pole position ahead of Chris Shepherd, I believe, and they will be going at it side by side down into turn 1. So what can they do with those positions? Can they turn those into solid results? Behind them, they're going to have 3 battling Hyundais of Jurich, Nesic, and Stulich, and then Adam Pintos, our race 1 victor, will be rounding out the field. Anyway, we get underway and head down towards turn 1, and that is an excellent start from the Halyard Jurich. Jurich sweeps through from 3rd to the lead, and that's going to be very valuable in this race. He's going to possibly build an advantage here. There's drivers running right over the white lines on the edge of the circuit. Slaven Stulich there goes right off the road, but does gain 2nd place in all of that. So Stulich goes up to 2nd. Shepherd tries to come back at him on the inside and forces him very nearly off the road. Says, I'm not happy with you passing me around the outside, off the road. I'm coming straight back through again. He calls dibs on the inside line for the hairpin, although has to drop back as he doesn't have a good run. And I think that the same fate may be about to befall Nesic. although he's a little bit further alongside as we reach the hairpin. That's close, just as it was in race 1. However, they've got through without any contact this time. Shepherd gets back on the inside and looks as if he's going to claim second position. So a much cleaner start to race 2 than we saw in race 1. And Chris Shepherd appears to be taking advantage of it. Have I spoken too soon? It looks like I have done. Into the barrier in a very heavy way goes Slaven Stolic, our championship leader. He drops to the back of the field, and that could be very detrimental to his championship challenge. He may lose a lot of points in that one, and that looked like a very similar accident to the one that broke Jules Gounon's legs a few years ago in a GT race. But Slaven Stolic drops 14 seconds behind the pack. I think that unless anything drastic is going to happen here, he's going to be coming home last place, and that is a huge shame for Slaven Stolic. So maybe in the next advert break I'll work out exactly how many points he's scored in relation to his main championship rivals. But for now he's just got to keep going and bag the points that he can, like the points for 6th position. But anyway, came together with Chris Shepherd. He's not going to be happy about that. But if he feels that he was fouled, that will probably go to the stewards after the race. Meanwhile, Shepherd sticks within a second of the leader, Mihailo Juric. Behind them, Nesic, Pinchers, and Tomicic follow them up to the hairpin. It looks as if the leaders are starting to potentially break away a bit here, the leading duo. As we head, and I'm afraid Slaven Stolic's in the pit, so Slaven Stolic may be out of the race in the early stages. Pintas battles his way through to 3rd place, so Pintas pulls the move on Nesic and gets through. And Nesic drops down into 4th position as it stands. They've got Milan Tomicic right on their tail end as well, waiting to launch through if these two come together in a similar way to Stolic. And incidentally, Stolic has just exited the pit, or is exiting the pits now, so he's still in the race, although he's a whole minute behind the leaders and maybe about to get lapped if something else happens. So, as I keep saying, hugely disappointing for Slaven Stolic. He knows that he could have won this race if that incident hadn't happened. However, this is such a close field that pretty much any of these drivers could win races. And Juric, Shepherd, Pintas, Nesic, they all want to show that they have a stake to that claim. Out and on to another lap of racing they go. Shepherd less than 0.3 of a second, less than 2.5 of a second behind Mihailo Juric as it stands. They have got a 1.5 second lead over Adam Pintas as it stands. So a bit of a gap there. And they'll want to take advantage of that while they can. Shepherd really close to the back of Juric there and getting a good switchback. That's going to be all the drive he needs towards... I have no doubt he's going to be alongside Juric by the end of this straight, to be honest. Looking at how quickly the time is coming down. And it's just going to increase as he gets more slipstream, more of a wind block. Here he goes. Shepherd goes alongside to the outside. Forced to the left, goes wide, he's missed his braking point, and off the road goes Shepherd, and behind them as well, Nesic had to steer out and lose a lot of time as he went side by side with Pintas, and now Pintas is going to be attacking Chris Shepherd down towards the Mercedes arena. Of course, we don't have any Mercedes in this race, it's just Hyundais, Volkswagens, Seats and Audis. But Chris Shepherd keeps that position in the Volkswagen Golf TCR. All of these cars, of course, are TCR spec. They would be eligible to race in the World TCR Championship, the WTCR. And also in any of the regional or continental TCR championships which take place around the world. It's one of the most popular categories in motor racing in the modern day and age, not just in regional or worldwide TCR championships, but also in endurance championships. Now Pintas is going to challenge Shepherd. Looks almost like an extension of Shepherd's car as they exit the North over there, like an 8-wheeled double humped camel car. Whoa, Pincers very sideways, pulls the move. That was excellent from Pincers. Excellent car control, and went through at just the movement that Shepard was not expecting. However, Shepard has managed to get back alongside with him. That's probably because Pincers went so sideways into the corner, lost a lot of momentum. But it looks to me as if he's going to be able to keep the place. Nesic, however, up the inside of Shepard. Does he get it stopped in time to avoid Pincers? Yes, he does. And Nesic takes the good opportunistic driving from Nesic. Saw the opportunity in the double slipstream, which isn't technically double a slipstream, but you do get a slight advantage from it. Shepard back to the inside of Nesic. Rubs his way through, makes it stick, so the battle for third position, highly disputed, and Shepard's managed to get through, and I'm afraid I can now confirm that Slaven Stolic is out of this race. So, championship leader is going to be coming away from this one with no points. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. Do you get points for retirements? I think you maybe do, which is why he is cool enough. We'll have to get that confirmed by our series organizer and runner, I suppose, Mike Pitman. Anyway, on to another lap of racing. We're into the final 8 minutes. And Pincers is caught right up to the back of Mihailo Juric. It's getting close for the lead. VBM says might be only 6 cars, but these cars still make action. Indeed they do. It's very, very action-packed all the way through. He also asks, would Stolic have pole for race 3? I genuinely don't know, because of course he has retired from the race, but whatever the case, here comes Pincers to the outside of Juric. This is for the lead of the race, and this couldn't be a better situation for Pincers, since he may be about to take the lead, and his championship rival is going to finish last in this race. Oh, contact further back as well, as Nesic runs into the back of Shepard. Now, what can Pincers do on Juric as they head down towards the Mercedes arena? Goes to the right hand side, the outside line, checking. Oh, forces Juric into a mistake. Juric goes off. Pincers takes the lead, and that would have been what Pincers was thinking of there. Of course, if you go to the outside, if you go alongside your opponent, you force them to be defensive. You force them to either run wide on the exit. Oh, and Juric is off. Juric is in the gravel, and this is going to give Shepard second. Shepard goes through to second. Nesic may get him off. Nesic is off too. Nesic is in the gravel. So Nesic saw his opportunity on the outside, but just got on the less grippy part of the circuit, the lesser used part of the circuit, and off he went. So that is going to give Juric third position. Now Juric is going to have a look at getting back past Shepard. He's got 5 minutes and 55 seconds left to do it in. Well, plus the remainder of the lap they're on at the time when the lap is completed. So very, very close for the top 3. Pincers, Shepard and Juric all separated by just 1.5 seconds as it stands. Then they've got 7 seconds back to Nesic after that off, and 7 more seconds back to Dimitric, who's been running 5th for the majority of the race. Just over 5 minutes remaining until we get the checkered flag now, and it's still very close. 3 for the lead here at Hockenheim. Pincers goes slightly wide into the hairpin. May just be a difference in line, although that didn't look quite right. It wasn't wide in, tight out, which would be the norm if you wanted to get a good exit to the corner. It was more kind of semi-wide in, semi-wide out, which isn't normal. So through the sweepers again, out of the Mercedes arena and towards the HM Engineering corner, I'm going to call that. Someone kicking up a little bit of gravel there, but getting away with it as it is. Now couple of corners to go towards the end of this lap. We've got 4 minutes left in the race after this. Shepard still sticking with Pincers, they're both still being chased by Jurich. Of course, Pincers here will be pulling away a lot of points from Storlich, as I said earlier. And of course, he is the driver with the most wins to his name in this series so far. Pincers, of course, has so far won six races, and is on his way for his 7th here, whereas his main championship, 5 races, he's on his way to his 6th, whereas his main championship rival, interestingly, his main championship rival Storlich has also got 5 wins to his name. Other drivers who have won races so far this season include Nikola Nesic, who's won 1, Mihaly Juric won 1, and Chris Shepard so far has won 2 as it stands. And Shepard still challenging for his 3rd, Juric still challenging for his 2nd as it stands. I truly believe that any of these top 3 drivers could win this race. And of course, when you have 3 drivers fighting this closely, there's always the possibility that they're all going to come together, and I don't wish that on them, but that would of course give Nikola Nesic a chance, despite being 7.5 seconds back from the leader at this point in time. Fastest lap so far in this race is held by Chris Shepard, possibly with aid from the slipstream of Adam Pince's car, but also Shepard is a very, very quick driver. Quickest theoretically and statistically so far this season has been Adam Pincers, who's taken 2... Oh no, sorry, it's been Slaven Storlich who's taken 2 pole positions, and the other 2 pole positions of the series, we had 1 for Pincers and 1 for Shepard, so theoretically the best qualifier so far is Storlich. Oh, you see Pincers going very defensive there off turn 4, pulling right over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Obviously did not want to give his rivals behind a chance to challenge, a chance to get the maximum slipstream, the maximum tow down the straight. So Shepard there not getting as much of a wind block as he would otherwise have got. We're on the penultimate lap of the race here, meaning there's just 1 more to go after this one. And still, it's anyone's game for the lead of this race. Well, not quite anyone's game, but pretty much anyone's game between the top 3. Especially Pincers and Shepard, because Juric has dropped back a little bit on that lap. Whoa, and going way, way wide over the blue AstroTurf goes Juric. Obviously, liked the Red Bull Ring better and wanted to go to end up back there again. So far this series, of course, we've been to the Hungary Ring, we've been to the Slovakia Ring, Zandvoort and the Red Bull Ring, so pretty much all over Europe. This time we're at the Hockenheim Ring, which is in Germany. Our final round of the championship will be held in Austria, the second round at Austria at the Salzburg Ring. Wonderful track for touring car racing is the Salzburg Ring, very long, very wiggly, very fast. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. But in the meantime, we have an extremely close race on our hands, as always. This may be the last chance here for Chris Shepard, heading up towards the hairpin. Once again, Pincers breaks the tow, breaks the slipstream by pulling across to the left-hand side. Shepard gets as much of a slipstream as he can. Of course, you can't do excessive weaving here, partly because it's against the rules to make more than one move of defense as Shepard tags the rear end of Pincers through the hairpin. And also partly because the long left-hander at Parabolica, well, it curves, meaning you want to be on the inside to take the shortest route around the corner. Going towards the Mercedes arena. Shepard's gone off. Shepard locked up. Obviously, he wanted to brake later than Pincers to gain advantage, but he's made a mistake. He's run wide and through into second place on the last lap of the race. Has gone Mihaly Juric, and that was just frustration from Chris Shepard. That was just, well, he got a bit desperate, didn't he? But that means that Adam Pincers is going to win his 6th race of the series and his 2nd consecutively. Second consecutively. So fantastic race from Adam Pincers, who comes out of the final corner and wins again at the Hockenheim Ring. Fantastic from him. Juric is 2nd. Shepard will be kicking himself after that last lap mistake. Nikola Nesic will be kicking himself after dropping it into the gravel earlier on. Milan Tomicic will be 5th place. And I'm afraid our championship leader, Slaven Sulic, did not finish, did not score in this race. We're now going for another advert break here, and we will be back very shortly for race 3. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back everyone to the Hockenheim Ring. We're heading to the final race of the day, race 3 out of 3. And so far Adam Pincers has won 2 out of 2 races. There is an extra points award for winning 3 races in a row. So if Pincers wins that, then he is going to be well on his way to taking the championship lead. So it's all down to him here. It is going to be Slaven Stolic, however, who starts from pole position. So the championship leader coming into this round starts from the front and gets away as we get the green light. Nesic already blaster into 2nd. I'm afraid Tomicic just dropped back a bit at the start there. What's Shepard doing? Weaving behind, I'm really not sure. But Stolic leads through turn 1, followed by Nesic, Juric, Tomicic and Pincers. And then Shepard at the back. Now we're going to get some slipstreaming going on as we head up towards the hairpin as usual. As we have Stolic leading the chain around. Of course, it's going to be 6 for the lead on the opening lap, just as it is as always, and hopefully no one goes for a diabolic dive bomb into turn 6. It's going to be close, and I'm afraid I'm not entirely sure that won't happen. I've got my fingers crossed. Here we go. Turning right into the hairpin in the braking zone. Tomicic gets close to the back of Pincers, but that was well judged from all of them. And once again, it's clean. So 2 races in a row, we've had a clean first hairpin. That's good to see. However, this is where it all went wrong. A race ago for Slaven Stolic, and he gets it turned in very nicely this time around with no such issues. His car gets through completely undamaged, as does everyone. So that is a good start to the opening lap. Stolic leads Nesic, leads Juric, then Pincers, Tomicic and Shepard. Tomicic under attack from Shepard there. Going towards the HM Engineering corner. And again to the outside of the Satch curve. Trying to force Tomicic into the same kind of mistake that we saw a driver making earlier on, where they ran wide into the Mercedes arena. Alright, so I've got a case of violent hiccups. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Now I've got that out of the way. Down the start-finish straight to start lap 2 of the race. With Stolic still chasing Nesic. And out towards turn 2 once again. And in the background, Shepard going to the outside of Tomicic again. And this time, oh, does pull the move, although very nearly turns across his nose. Oh my goodness, and it looked to me as if he was going to get absolutely clobbered there. But they judged it well. And Tomicic is now straight back in his slipstream again. As we look further up at the top 4, who are all in a slipstream chain, as we've seen so many times in this event. Oh, Nesic is locked up. Nesic goes wide. And it looks as if second place is about to change. Not quite, because Nesic gets a better run out to the corner. Juric drops back. And Tomicic has just passed Shepard again for 5th. So Tomicic fights back. Good job from him. Gets ahead of Shepard. This is going to be costing Shepard a lot of time, but Tomicic is absolutely within his rights to fight for this place, and should do. And now, oh, slight contact as Shepard goes back through on the inside and retakes 5th position. Out towards the end of another lap of racing towards the Sats curve. Pincers looking all over the back of Juric as he fights for his 3rd win of 3. No one has won 3 out of 3 races so far this series. And Pincers really wants to be the first. He's certainly in contention for it, being just 0.3 of a second behind the 2 drivers ahead of him. Well, behind Juric anyway. A little bit further behind Nesic and Stolic, although that's to be expected. And as soon as he picks off Juric, it's going to be 1 at a time. That is assuming he gets past. Of course, the championship fight all the way through has been pretty much solely between Stolic and Pincers, although Pincers had a huge setback earlier on when he was disqualified from all 3 rounds, all 3 races at the Slovakia Ring, costing him a lot of points since he won races at the Slovakia Ring. And if he hadn't incurred that penalty, he would be leading this championship by a very, very long way at the minute. Although that's neither here nor there, because he did, and he deserved it. But he knows that, and he's apologised for his mistake, and now he's just got to get his head down and challenge for the lead of the race and for the lead of the championship. And I'm sure that if he gets through, if he gets past these drivers and gets into the championship lead, I'm sure he's going to deserve it 100%. Not sure quite what the gap between the 2 in the championship is as it stands after the 2 first races. Of course, it's going to be confirmed officially in a few days' time, and you'll be able to see the results if you're in the WCSLeague Discord or on the website. Actually, I don't believe the results can be found on the website, but they can on the Discord if you're part of that. And also, we will give you a full rundown of the order at the start of the next round at the Salzburg Ring, which will be the championship decider between Stolic, between Pincers, and anyone else who keeps himself within mathematic contention here. Going into this round, pretty much everyone was still in championship contention. Although realistically, it was between possibly the top 5, Stolic, Pincers, Juric, Nesic, Shepard. A couple of drivers lost a few valuable points through mistakes and incidents and things like that today or throughout the course of the series. But still, it's very close in terms of the championship and also in terms of the race, because we've got Pincers going for 3rd now, and once again Nesic goes slightly wide into the hairpin. He's done that quite a few times. He needs to make sure that he doesn't do that too many more times, because he will lose places, and he has lost places in all of that over the course of the day. Pincers not quite able to get past Juric there, but he's going for it again on the outside of the Mercedes arena. Oh, doesn't get the switchback because he touches the rear end of Juric's car, and that's the kind of nudge that doesn't give you an advantage. He was effectively pushing his opponent forwards and costing him a chance to get the switchback. costing himself a chance to get the switch back rather. But anyway, Juric holds first and third position, just behind Nesic, just ahead of Pinces, and Pinces will have a proper run going onto the start-finish straight. They're separated by less than 0.3 of a second. This is an opportunity this lap for Adam Pinces. Probably not into turn 1, but almost definitely into, well, if not turn 2, the hairpin. Whoa, as Chris Shepherd goes very wide in the background, and over the grass, in fact. If he was in a rear-wheel drive car, that would have been much harder to hold. But it manages to get it back onto the road. It's a difficult corner to get right, that turn 1, because you've got a huge curb on the inside. It's very, very fast. You can unsettle the car easily. And if you get into that grass or that gravel, you're most likely going to skate straight on and possibly hit the wall. Now Pinces goes to the outs. Oh, what's Pinces done here? He's in the barrier. Pinces is sliding along the barrier and he's pointing backwards. A huge mistake from Adam Pinces. And that looked to me as if he just pulled out of the slipstream of Juric and lost control all by himself. That is a hugely rare, a very, very rare mistake by Adam Pinces, who immediately sets by passing to Micic again for 5th. But that is a huge and very unusual mistake from Pinces. He hasn't looked that stable on his brakes throughout the entire series. We've seen him making a couple of mistakes under braking, but none quite that big. Looks as if he just drove off the circuit, looking at the replay there. And once he was on the grass, there was no keeping him out of the barrier, and that, quite frankly, is embarrassing. No offense meant to Pinces there. And that's going to cost him his 3rd victory in 3 straight races. And give Stolic back the points, or some of the points that he lost by crashing out of race 2. But anyway, as we have less than 6 minutes remaining in this race now, still we have a fight for P1 between Stolic and Nesic. Now, does Pinces have damage? Because he's not getting away from Micic as quickly as I would have expected. Not sure if I can get an onboard camera, potentially. Oh, he's doing it completely wrong there, right? Okay, unfortunately my cockpit cameras are not working, so I can't get a good view of Pinces at this point in time. Let's just hope he's not damaged or too badly damaged. Ooh, not a great line from Stolic into the hairpin there. Looks to me as if he's feeling the pressure of Nesic behind. So that is still very much on for the lead of the race. And that could be significant in terms of the championship, because Stolic needs all the points he can get to keep ahead of Pinces. Of course, Pinces' mistake here will help him, although still, he wants as much of a buffer going into the final round of the championship at the Salzburg Ring as he can possibly get. Of course, the championship here definitely means a lot to these drivers. I believe that there is some prize money up for grabs. I'll just double check that. Indeed, there is. It's €100 for first place, €60 for second, and 40 for third in the championship. That is, meaning this fight for first place between Stolic and Pinces in the championship isn't just worth bragging rights and medal reward. It's also worth 40 quid. Sorry, €40. In relation to each other, obviously. That is assuming that no one else can take the championship, because we still have plenty of other drivers in championship contention, mathematically. And we know that with touring car racing, a lot can happen. We still have this race plus 3 more races, so that's 1 round at the Salzburg Ring. VBM says, do these guys not want to win this title or what? In the YouTube chat. Indeed, Stolic crashed out of race 2. Now Pinces had an incident in race 3 as well. Goodness me. It's been a very, very dramatic race here, especially in terms of the championship fight. And it could go all the way to the flag here between Stolic and Nesic. Nesic pushing Stolic hard in the late stages, not letting him get away, not letting him feel any ease of pressure at all. And he can't afford to, because all the while that he's putting pressure on Stolic, he's pushing him, not literally, but mentally. And the more you're pushed, the more you're likely to make a mistake. That's the importance of stress and the lack thereof in motor racing, and Nesic will be trying to avoid getting frustrated. When you're chasing someone like this, the trick is to enjoy it as much as you possibly can, because that keeps you from making mistakes. That keeps you from feeling that stress that I was just talking about. Because racing, as much as it's a game of skill, it's also a game of psychology. We've seen that time and time again. And that's why the calmest drivers tend to be the best. That's why the drivers who don't get too emotional in difficult situations tend to be the multiple world champions. That's where your Lewis Hamiltons come from, your Kimi Räikkönens, your Nico Rosbergs. Those drivers are the best because they don't make mistakes. They don't let pressure get the better of them. And here in sim racing at least, we may well soon be able to add Slaven Stolic to this list, because this is a brilliant defensive drive from Slaven Stolic. And to be honest, he's driven so well all the way throughout this entire series. I'm going to have a look back at race 2 actually and see if I can analyze Stolic's incident more, see what caused him to go into the wall, because it was a very, very weird one. And actually, looking back at it, it seems we don't really get a good camera angle of it. So, not entirely sure whether it was self-inflicted from Stolic or not. Well, again, that's neither here nor there, because we are on the final lap of the race now, and we have a final lap race for the lead between Stolic and Nesic. As in the background, Adam Pincers passes Chris Shepherd for 4th place, so Pincers gets Shepherd back and demotes him. Shepherd not having the best day so far. He would have hoped for far more after his significant and very, very good results at Zandvoort, but not having the best time of it. Nesic not close enough to attack Stolic. Down into the hairpin. He's going to have a couple more opportunities potentially, one of those being into the Mercedes arena, but he needs to make sure that he doesn't do a Shepherd, doesn't go wide, trying to be later on the brakes than his rivals, trying to be braver. Well, he was later on the brakes than Stolic, but he got it turned in nicely, got it slowed in time. So that was good driving from Nesic. And now he needs to possibly go for a move into the Satch curve, or rely on Stolic making a mistake in the last few corners of the lap. I'm not sure that it's going to happen. Through the Satch curve for the final time today. Slaven Stolic exits the corner. He's got just right-handers to go now. It's been a fantastic defensive drive from him. He's had pressure on him all the way through this race from Nesic behind, but Slaven Stolic delivers a fantastic victory and wins race 3. Nikola Nesic is 2nd, Mihailo Juric 3rd, Adam Pincers is 4th, passing Chris Shepherd on the final lap. Shepherd 5th, Milan Timicic is 6th, and that was a great and very, very exciting finish to the race. And I have to say that my driver of the day over those 3 races, it's a tough call. Although today, let me just have a quick look back to the race 2 results. Today, I believe I'm going to hand it to Mihailo Juric for a triple podium. he kept his wits about him and did a very, very good job of bringing it home. My apologies, he actually didn't score a triple podium. He was 4th in race 1, but still, his race 2 and race 3 P3s were very, very good indeed. And also honourable mention to Slaven Stolic, who I believe maintained his championship lead and also won race 3. And also to Adam Pintes, who won both of the first 2 races. And I believe also scored more points than Slaven Stolic today. So anyway, thank you very much for tuning into this round, everyone who was watching along in the YouTube stream. Thank you very much to my cameraman and streamer Mike Pitman, and to HM Engineering for sponsoring and supporting this championship, and to the whole of WCS League, especially the drivers who competed today. Anyway, we will see you again in 2 weeks' time for a championship decider between Pintes and Stolic and anyone else who's still in mathematical contention when the official results and the official standings are announced and released. And we will see you then at the Salzburg Ring. For now, good night.